Welcome everybody to episode 17 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. As you all know, as you all well know, or know well, either one works, whatever. Anyways, that's besides the point. We are two brothers who are former WWE employees that love video games and that wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that wrestling. That's where the WWE thing comes in.
Yep.
Because the wrestling. Not so much the video games, but then again, up, down, video games, wrestling. It works. It's a thing. What's up, everybody? What is up to Big Stupid 21 coming in?
What's up,
of course, saying what's up. We have got a big full show for you today. We have a review of Battleground. Not PlayerUnknown's Battleground's the game, but Battleground, the WWE pay-per-view event, which was not getting very many favorable reviews or favorable reception from fans.
There were a lot of highs and there were a lot of lows.
Yes, which we will discuss. And of course, we'll go through our normal breakdown during the week of wrestling. But we will also be going into video games. And in video games, Doomfist
has finally made his debut.
Yes, he has made his debut. He is finally available for everybody to play on all different consoles, all different platforms.
Yes, finally the Doom has fisted.
Not going to touch that. Let's move on to... I'd rather you talk about that Battlegrounds rather than the pay-per-view.
Whoa.
Might take about.
I can understand that, but there are... How about this? How about we pick certain matches to talk about, and then other than that, we'll just talk about player.
No, we'll review all of it. I'd like to talk PUBG. I did well in PUBG last night. I was telling you right before the...
We can review the results and only talk about what we want to talk about.
Maybe. Well, I was saying, I did well in PUBG last night. It was fun. I told you about it.
It's a good game.
Anyway, let's get right into it with PlayerUnknown. Wow, I almost just screwed it up right there. I almost just went, let's just go right into PlayerUnknown's Battleground. No, let's go into Battleground, the WWE pay-per-view event exclusively on WWE Network. We are kicking things off with the bizarre pre-show match of Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English, which Aiden English won.
I didn't even know that because I didn't watch it.
Aiden English defeated Ty Dillinger. And it was kind of a very meh match. Nothing too super exciting. I'm trying to think. Like, it just... And if I recall, the finish kind of came from out of nowhere. I don't know, if they're... I guess they're trying to, build Aiden English, not make Aiden English a complete jobber, which is good because I like Aiden English. But you're putting a rocket on Ty Dillinger and establishing him as potentially a legitimate contender for the United States Championship, and then you have him lose on the pre-show after already won. So it was just bizarre.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Very odd, very bizarre. I mean, they made up for it on SmackDown, sort of, but which we'll get into. But really odd. It did not set a good pace for the night, which was pretty much will let you know, show you what to expect from the rest of the night. Gave a good I guess foreshadowing of what was to come.
Yeah. Basically.
What is up, Errolly? How's it going? After the pre-show, we kicked things off with a hot opener and probably the best match of the night.
Hands down the best match.
New Day versus the Usos.
So good.
Oh my God, was that good.
Not only was that match good, but it did one thing that I feel like the New Day has had to do for a while now, which is have Xavier Woods show that he is that damn good.
Thank God. They finally gave Austin a fair shake in a championship match.
Yeah.
Because normally it's always Kofi and Big E in a championship match, unless it's they're defending their titles in a regular TV show or something like that.
Yeah.
They finally gave Austin the opportunity to show what he could do on a pay-per-view in a major tag match, and good God, did he excel.
He shined.
His selling, the false finishes.
It was so good. That frickin' when he went for the elbow drop and got super kicked in
that was gross.
Oh, man.
That was the best spot of the night. That was amazing. He took that like a champ, flush right on the chin.
Oh God!
He kicked out of it. I thought that was a match. When that happened, I'm like, oh wow, they're actually gonna have the Usos win.
I thought it was a match when he got super kicked by one of the Usos, who then tagged the other one, and then did the splash, and he kicked out. Or no, that was Kofi that kicked out.
Kofi made the save.
But still, my God.
It was such a good match. And that finish, Trouble in Paradise into a coast-to-coast elbow drop, pretty much, was insane. What a match. These two teams, the Usos and the New Day, as everybody knows, they're all really good dudes, and they're all friends backstage. And it just shows the chemistry that just, like, you can tell, even if you didn't really know, even if you didn't watch Up, Down, Down, even if you didn't, like, see anything backstage, them interacting, or them doing stuff like, what was the like Swerve, like those kids and everything. You could tell just by watching the match that they have good chemistry, and it's just amazing, and that they must get along with each other well backstage as a result, because like they just kill it every single time. And not only props to Austin for finally being allowed in a tag match and showing what he can do, but he got the pinfall.
Yeah,
and I gotta tell you, I guarantee you that celebration he did after the match, that wasn't all just like selling and playing it up. I'm sure that was some pure raw emotion.
Oh yeah.
And he was so happy that he finally got his moment.
Yeah, exactly. And he deserves it, and he should have gotten it a while ago, but I'm glad that they went through and did that. It was very good.
New Day continues to prove why WWE should never ever break them up.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want them to go for the tag titles anymore, have them like help each other out pursuing singles titles or something. Keep them together as a trio forever.
Exactly.
And the Usos, just good God, those two teams bring the best out of one another.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept the rivalry even hotter on SmackDown, which we'll get to as well. But New Day with a dramatic victory to take their first ever SmackDown Tag Team Championship, to capture that, and to be the first team ever to capture both the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team titles.
Yep.
So,
good on them.
And then after that, things kind of started going downhill. Next up, I believe we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin, I believe was next.
It was okay.
It was a good match.
I don't understand the point of the finish.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that they addressed on SmackDown. But, yeah, I don't like the ending. Like, I don't like that it wasn't a clean ending. Just because, like, I feel like Nakamura should have won that clean, because they've tried to strap a rocket and push him to the moon ever since he came in to just WWE in general, not just the main roster. And Corbin has the briefcase as protection, so why does he need to get DQ'd? Why can't he just take the Kinshasa and lose?
Yeah.
Straight up.
But I mean, why did he need to give him a low blow?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
He's
like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose. You lose anyway by but
if you're gonna, but it's a kind of like, if I'm gonna lose. Yes, that is a good point, Alex. Yes. If you are gonna lose, if he's gonna lose, he's gonna lose on his terms. I think it's that kind of thing, and he gets to like stand over Shinsuke regardless. Like, from a character standpoint, that's where I go from to explain that. I just don't like the fact that it was booked to where Shinsuke didn't look as dominant as I feel he should have looked going up against Baron Corbin, the way they've been trying to build him up.
Yeah.
I think not really a bad or terrible match. It just wasn't what I feel like it should have been, and I don't think it really benefited the superstars and their characters.
They were, I think, more concerned with trying to keep Corbin as protected as possible than the actual quality of the match and the results of what would come from it and everything.
Yeah. Then after that, I believe we got the Fatal 5-Way between the women's number one contender match, which Natty won. Which I gotta say, like, I didn't really know, like, with the SmackDown Women's Division, like, I feel like they could push anybody at any given time. I mean, they did push Lana for a little bit. I feel like they could have had Tamina win. They probably could have made Charlotte or Becky win, but Natty won.
Can I point something out quickly about this match? As its own, I don't watch SmackDown. Seeing Natalya win this match and the way she did, kind of, I have no interest in the SmackDown Women's Championship match at SummerSlam now.
I kind of liked the ending, though. I liked it because she pulled her knees up at the last second, and it really looked like it wrecked Charlotte. And, like, Charlotte did sell the bump into the turnbuckle pretty hard.
Yeah. But it was just, like, you don't have her win with her finishing move, and it's, oh, well, she blocked this one regular move of this person and then threw them into the padded turnbuckle, which does hurt, but then pin them, and like it was just really weird. And I feel like it would have been better for her if she actually
awkward,
hit a finisher. And also, like, just from the idea of, I mean, looking at Natalya versus Naomi, or what could have happened if it went the other way of Charlotte versus Naomi. I'd much rather see Charlotte versus Naomi, seeing as how they already have a storyline that never got resolved begin with.
But the problem is you can't turn Charlotte heel without turning somebody face, and they have 4 heel female superstars right now.
Not
Charlotte would give them 5. Only Naomi and Becky would be face. They want to maintain that face heel balance. That way they can book face versus heel going forward fairly and evenly.
Have to do that. They could have it of these two the way it was when Charlotte first got there. I want this championship. Well, I'm going to keep it, and also have a heel factor of Carmella on the outside being like, well, I don't care what you guys say. That's going to be my title. Because I think they're building towards a Charlotte Becky thing right here. I think that's what they're doing. Like I said, just look at it. If
you've been watching SmackDown, you'd know that they've been billing Natty as the big heel of the show for a while. They've been
building her as
Natty
the big heel
going up against Naomi for a while now. So it fits the story.
It's just not nearly as interesting, though.
Yeah, but why waste the interesting stuff now when you can save it for WrestleMania?
Because knowing them, they're not going to do it at WrestleMania.
No, they'll do something good at WrestleMania, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if at WrestleMania we get the 4 horsewomen all competing in one-on-one title matches, but like in the other thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sasha Bayley on the Raw side and Charlotte Becky on the SmackDown side.
As far as Raw's concerned,
Carmella's
going to be involved at WrestleMania, I have a feeling.
I don't know. We'll see. If you don't know, you never know when she's going to cash it. And just because...
No, I know. I'm just saying that's the feeling I'm getting with how they're playing it with her and the briefcase. I have a feeling that when she does cash in, it'll be sometime closer to WrestleMania and she'll be a part of WrestleMania in some way. Maybe cashing in at like Roadblock
We also don't know where everybody's going to land because there are rumors circulating that there's going to be another superstar shakeup after SummerSlam.
Oh, God. Come on.
Yeah, which we may or may not... Which I don't think we need. But
we don't need a superstar shakeup. We need better writing.
So yeah, I had no problem with the match. The only problem I really had with the match was whenever Lana got in the ring.
That's exactly what I was saying. Lana.
You could just tell how far behind she is everybody else as far as development and wrestling ability.
She had a meltdown on Twitter this week. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, apparently at SmackDown, people, when she got tagged into the match she was in, started chanting "You can't wrestle" to her loudly. I guess they may have like made it like in editing afterwards, like toned it down a little bit.
It's SmackDown's live now. They can't change
Yeah, but there's a 5-second delay.
You can't change that in 5 seconds. I don't know if you can change that in the time of 5 seconds.
They've done it with bleeping and stuff. I'm pretty sure they could turn down the volume if they could bleep.
That's a matter of turning all the audio down for like a split second or turning down the audio on a mic. I don't believe the crowd is completely mic'd up. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, people were chanting that at her, and she went on a Twitter meltdown going on like, who are you to say that I can't wrestle? And I'm just like, the people who have been watching wrestling for longer than you've been alive.
Is that Lana the person or Lana the superstar?
I'm pretty sure it's Lana the superstar, but I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I like Lana. She's a really cool person.
She's a
great manager. But she needs more time training.
Exactly.
And she needs more experience. She shouldn't be getting thrown into like number 1 contendership matches and championship matches right now.
Yeah, she should be in the performance centers where she should be.
I don't know if she should be. Maybe she is putting time in the performance center. We don't know that.
Okay, but I'm just saying that's clearly what she needs. She needs time
and
training and working on the wrestling.
I don't think she should get put down to NXT either because with the strength of the NXT women's division right now, I feel like she'd be in just as much trouble if she was in the NXT women's division than if she was on the main roster.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be in more trouble down there, but I'm just saying, like, just from the view of it, she needs time training. She needs more training. She shouldn't have been thrown into this picture right now.
What she needs, I think, is she needs to be guided through the lower card of the main roster.
Yeah.
She needs to be putting in time in the performance center, and she needs to be wrestling, which I think they're rectifying now after what happened on SmackDown. But she needs to be wrestling like maybe Carmella or maybe Tamina, the people who aren't going to be immediately involved in the championship picture, like this moment or something like that. I mean, or somebody like, or if she goes up against a Becky or a Charlotte, like they should be focusing on, I mean, it's selfless and like they shouldn't have to, but for the good of the company, technically, maybe they should like try to cover up her flaws a little bit, but like you shun the spotlight on her right at the beginning, and we saw this with Eva Marie too, which, granted, Lana is better than Eva Marie because she's got a much more charisma, much better character. She's much better at talking and being on the mic, but like wrestling wise, the same thing as Eva Marie. Like they didn't give her maybe enough training, and then tried to shove a spotlight on her and put her right in a marquee rivalry or a matchup, and like she just couldn't perform.
I feel like part of the reason they did that though is because of the fact of, unlike the rest of WWE, the women's division is kind of limited because they don't have that many female wrestlers on the show, and they had this storyline planned with basically the entire women's division except for the champion on SmackDown, and it was going to be going on for at least 2 months, and they were like, well, we can't have our champion doing absolutely nothing for 2 months. Yeah. And that's why they did it. I think a poor move, but seems to be why they did that. I also think
they're gonna help out Lana going forward. I thought they were gonna do it one way, but it looks like they might go another way with it. Because I think what they might be doing is they might be trying to do a character thing. Where maybe she came in so goddamn arrogant, and then she gets her ass literally handed to her, and it acts as like an ego check to the character.
Kind of similar, not exactly the same, but similar to what they did with Dana Brooke.
Kind of, yeah, but now Dana's not really wrestling anymore.
Yeah. That's why I said similar.
And also, I think Lana's also way better on the mic and has more charisma than Dana does.
No doubt.
Although I would say that Dana's a better wrestler right now than Lana is.
She's a better wrestler, but she's still not that great.
No. So yeah, that was the women's match. Then we will move on to, I believe it was Styles versus Owens, which was after that.
That was good.
Which Kevin Owens won. The match was good. The finish was horrible.
Yeah,
atrocious.
I still don't understand what that was supposed to be. Was it AJ thought that he was pinning Owens, or that he had his shoulder? Like, it was just so weird and vague.
Because like the ref count was so slow because the ref was knocked down that AJ should have realized, hey, I'm getting pinned. And it's not like a situation where AJ was rolled up or whatever. Early Alex thinks that it might have been an accidental 3 count.
Yeah.
And they played it up. That could have very well have been it. But like, man, that was bad. Because like the ref gets knocked down, and it's like, okay, whenever a ref gets knocked down, he has to not see something. But he's coming to, and he's facing them, and he's seeing everything, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It was really weird.
They said he was supposed to. Who is they? Big stupid. Who is they? They said he was supposed to kick out, and that's why they gave him the belt back. AJ? Maybe AJ was supposed to kick out.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you look at it, you could debate that maybe AJ's right shoulder was actually up.
Yeah, because I remember AJ was arguing with the ref after the match, being like, pointing to his shoulder and like making motion that it was up or whatever, but it was just so weird and so botched. And that's the kind of thing like you'd think they would have discussed that with the referee beforehand, but whatever. Well, the match was good up until the end.
The general rule in the WWE as far as refereeing goes is you count the 3, and if the wrestler doesn't get his shoulder up, that's his fault, not yours.
True.
So, the Wrestling News Observer said that. Well, that's Meltzer, right? Meltzer does the Wrestling News Observer, right? We'll see. Meltzer nowadays, like, isn't always 100% with what he says, but then again, Meltzer's also the one who's talking about Superstar Shakeup after SummerSlam, so.
Let's hope not.
But yeah, Styles versus Owens, we both agree, even though Owens won.
Good till the end.
Really good match. What the hell happened with the finish? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Then we moved on from that to Cena versus Rusev, which I really liked, although people didn't like so much.
I had some issues with that.
The one big issue that a lot of people have that I understand, and is also kind of think was dumb, was that when Rusev picked up the stand, hit Cena with it, and then placed it right back where it belonged, when the point of the match was to put the flag in the stand, and he's a heel. It's why? Some people said
things had a problem with.
Some people said throw it into the crowd, but I'm like, well, then Cena can't win. If you want Cena to win, maybe if it's a heel thing, toss it over your shoulder, or like chuck it off in the sides that way, down the ramp, and then have Cena fight to go get it and bring it back.
That was something similar that I had a problem with, which was there was a point in the match where I forget exactly what move had been done, but Cena had gotten knocked to the outside of the ring ramp side. Rusev was in the ring by his flag and by Cena's flag, and he grabs his flag, goes outside of the ring on the opposite side of Cena by the announcers, and then just casually walks around and goes to just casually walk past Cena to do it. And the first thing I thought is, he's a heel. Why isn't he going and grabbing the American flag and taking it out of the ring and putting it by the announcers on the floor over there? Just make it that much more difficult for him, and, pay attention to the fact that you're walking past another superstar. And a lot of it was just a lot of really slow crawling with flags, and it was obvious a lot of setup.
That's more, I think that's more of a fault of the stipulation.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, there were also the little things, Rusev could have done more heel-like stuff.
Earlier saying, and Rusev could have smashed Cena's hand when Cena stopped Rusev from putting the flag in the stand. I think that's more a thing of Cena just overpowered Rusev.
Yeah.
Cena's strength outdid Rusev's strength to the point to where Rusev could not force it down to smash Cena's hands, and the way he was standing, he couldn't really kick or punch Cena's hands off of the flag stand.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a just showcase of, Rusev just is stopping because Cena's hands are there. It's more of a fact of Cena literally is preventing Rusev from driving the flag with the stand into the stand, or any further to the stand.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw that they had the little platform things for each flag, I just saw it and I go,
A off the platform.
Yeah, A off the... you could you knew it right away.
It was still a really cool spot, though.
It was cool.
That was a really cool way to end the match.
I'm just saying that was one other little thing where it was things are predictable.
And if you look at the way Rusev took it, he took that mostly on his back, barely on his legs. So he took that like a champ.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that is just increased, the issue with the, it being predictable.
I guess, yeah. But, I didn't mind the match too much. There were little things like that, but, it's a flag match.
I'm glad Rusev was on TV.
That much. Yeah, I'm glad.
That's the main thing I take away.
And not only that, but Rusev, they made Rusev look strong despite the loss.
I feel like part of what this is Cena was talking about with, he's coming back because he wants to have whatever matches he wants. I have a feeling that they're like, well, they might have planned for SummerSlam. In the meantime, I want a match with Rusev. Why? Well, he's a good guy. He's a good in-ring worker. You guys aren't doing anything with him. If I have a chance to choose who I want him because you guys aren't using him, and you should be.
I don't know if that's... I think you're mixing character with actual person.
I know.
There.
I'm saying that's what I'm hoping for.
I think you're mixing character and actual person and actual reality, fiction and reality there. A little too much. And then after the Cena Rusev flag match, the surprise pre-main was Sami Zayn versus Mike Canales.
Yeah,
which was all right.
I did not like the end of that match.
What was the end of that match again?
It was...
I know it was a
Maria got involved and to stop
and it looked
Sami
like it was going to end just like
exploder.
It did on SmackDown, because that's what happened on SmackDown.
And then it was just, haluva kick and pin, and it would it just gave me the feeling of, you got this guy. He's now in the company. And you've got the manager there in which he won. No, I'm just saying he won with, his manager helping him in the last match. And now this match, his manager helps him once in this match and then sees he's going to lose and then just stands by and doesn't try helping again. I don't have a problem with Sami winning. I just had the problem of, the mindset of you're there to try and help him win.
Yeah, but if you look at Maria when she's there, she has that moment of indecision of should I run into the ring or trust that he'll kick out, and then the three's counted, and then she's beside herself. That's what, because when the pin was done, when I was watching the match, I looked square at Maria's face to see what she was gonna do, see if she was gonna run in, pull Sami Zayn out from under there. But Sami, I don't think his leg was close enough for her to reach and grab and pull him. And I think it was a thing of she trusted her great love to kick out, and she wasn't sure what to do because she already pushed her luck with the ref, and before she could make a decision, the referee counted to 3.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's not that great booking to have a guy come in and have a match on SmackDown, and then his first pay-per-view match, especially when he's a heel and has a match with him.
But he's going
to
up
have
against
him lose clean.
But he's going up against Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
he's going up against an established veteran who is very likely going to be.
A lot.
Who is he doesn't lose a lot.
Well, I'm saying like a lot of the feuds he does on pay-per-views.
He's beaten Baron Corbin. Okay. In his rivalry with he's beaten Braun Strowman via his rivalry with Braun Strowman.
Let me rephrase it this way: Sami is good with how he reacts to everything, with taking losses, with his personality.
Yeah, but Sami normally only takes losses from guys who are about to make the next step up from the mid card into the main event.
Yeah.
And Mike Canales just debuted.
Okay.
And he did lay down for the 3 for him, and it was rightfully shoddy. It was rightfully unclean, but he already did lay down for a 3 count for the guy in his debut match.
Yeah.
So he got the 1-up again in the pay-per-view match. So I feel like that's perfectly fine booking. Because you protect Sami, because you give him the win on the pay-per-view, because he's the bigger star. He's the guy you probably have a better future with. And then you still gave Canales a strong showing in a pay-per-view in a nice spot right towards the end of the night, and you had him win his debut.
I don't know, I just feel like with the way the match went, it kind of was just weird and didn't really do anything for either.
I mean, it wasn't anything really exciting. Like, it was short. They were probably held down by time constraints and whatnot.
True.
At that point, because when you're in that situation of pre-main, for the most part, you're basically like, okay, you originally had 10 minutes, now you're given 5 with entrances.
Yeah. Because
things ran long. Go.
Thanks, Usos and New Day, for having such a great match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't have much of a problem with that. Then you had the big one. Jinder Mahal versus
great
Randy Orton. I gotta say that I think that match went a little choppy.
You all know what my biggest problem with that match is?
What's that?
How weak is Jinder Mahal? Like, he had to have not only his 2 buddies help him.
He's a foreign heel.
So he... I know, but I'm just saying, like...
That's kind of how the shtick goes.
I understand, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, I'm looking at it, and it's... He had 2 guys with him, so it was already a 3-on-1, and that wasn't enough for him to retain the title, and he had to bring in a 4th giant guy to help him out.
That's the point.
I'm just saying it weakens the character as I see it.
I don't think so, because
I mean, storyline-wise, it's fine. But I'm just saying, like, him as a wrestler, if anything happens where he splits up from these guys, I see him as totally shot.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point of his character right now as a champion, is that he has talked big about how he's a great superstar, but he's only been winning as a benefit of help from others. And that's the point of the character, and that's what causes people to boo him, because he says, you boo me because I'm from another country, and when in reality it's people boo you, well, A, because of bad booking, but B, because you don't win because you're as good as you say you are. You win because you get help.
No, I understand. It's a great strategy as a heel, and it's been done how many numbers of times. I'm just saying, looking at him for his future after this. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it makes him look weak for him as a character going into the future. It's doing great for him now, but once all this is over and he loses the championship and everything, I feel like he's just going to be dropped back down, and it's not going to be good for him.
You say that like it's a bad thing, though.
I don't mind it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why they do that kind of stuff.
Because that's the whole point of the character. Mm-hmm. Would you say the same thing about Edge? When he had Vicky Guerrero and the Edge heads and Chavo?
Well, Edge has actually proven himself.
Well, the thing is that's the same kind of gimmick, where he had a group of people, he said he was that damn good, and had a group of people helping him. Same thing with Triple H and Evolution.
But the difference is, they've proven that they're able to go one-on-one with people like, for Triple H, for example, he's gone one-on-one with The Rock and beaten him without any help before.
Yeah, but
Edge has gone one-on-one with a bunch of people and beaten them by himself. And with Edge, that whole thing was mostly with people like the MF and Undertaker. But with Jinder Mahal, he hasn't really won any match on his own and hasn't really proven himself. So that's why I'm saying he's going to turn out weaker for it, because of it, because he has not done that yet.
That's WWE booking's problem for pushing him to the moon out of nowhere.
I agree, but I'm saying that it's going to cause
problems.
And
to be honest, it's not like I don't honestly think that. I mean, Jinder's been getting better, But I don't think he's reached the caliber of being a main event regular star with his wrestling ability.
Definitely not. So are you excited for Randy Orton versus Great Khali at SummerSlam? Because that's where it looks like it's headed.
When that happened, I was like, I wanted to chuck this belt and just walk, and I just wanted to take a long walk and cry.
I didn't want to cry, but I wanted to probably kick my TV.
Like, for Christ's sake. I mean, I know that Great Khali is a good person, and he's actually not a bad actor.
Yeah.
I actually watched The Longest Yard, the one that he was in over the weekend, and he's good in that. Very entertaining. But he is a very old, very tall giant.
Who's got bad knees.
And he had bad knees when he was in his prime in WWE, and he could barely do anything. He couldn't bump. He walked around when he moved around in the ring and like took maneuvers or even delivered maneuvers, he was very rigid.
He basically can chop things and crush fruit.
Yeah, like he really can't do anything. He's so limited. Like his mobility right now is like take Big Show and add another 5-10 years to Big Show. That's what Khali's mobility has been like his entire career.
Yeah,
and like.
With him, it's also, I'm pretty sure the entire reason it is, because not only is he very popular in India, but he's got a wrestling school out there, so I'm guessing he has no problem
with it. And he was in the first Punjabi prison match. The Punjabi prison matches were circled around him, and he had stuff involved with Jinder. I understand the storyline part of it. I understand storyline-wise why they did it. I just
don't like it.
I never wanted to see Great Khali in a ring or near a WWE ring ever again. Because he's not good in between the ropes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't speak good English, so he can't even really be that good on the mic. So it's like, what?
Why?
Yeah, like, aside from being muscle for Jinder, like, what good is he? Because I don't want to see him go one-on-one with Randy Orton. That's going to be it's going to be an awful match.
Yep.
Randy won't be able to do anything with him.
He'll be able to get chopped. And that's about it.
Like.
It'll be bad.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll survive.
Oh, with that was a very sad end to Battleground. Unfortunate end to Battleground.
Let's get on to stuff going to SummerSlam.
Well, hold on. I think right now, Battleground, I don't think was as bad as everybody else was saying it is.
Like I said, it had its highs and it had its lows.
A lot of people are calling it the worst pay-per-view so far of the year of 2017 that WWE's done.
No.
Which, I mean, I can't recall anything worse.
Money in the Bank.
No,
Money in the Bank wasn't terrible, but I'm saying that this was better than Money in the Bank.
No, Money in the Bank had a good match had the Iron Man match, which I know you had problems with, but I loved the Iron Man match, and it also had
Braun. They didn't have the Iron Man match.
Oh, wait, was that? Oh no, I'm thinking Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. They basically had the Styles Owens match and the Money in the Bank match, and that was basically it.
No, the Money in the Bank ladder match was with Styles and Owens both in it.
Oh yeah, but I mean, other than that, you had the women's Money in the Bank match. You had, well, I'm not saying that match was bad. I'm just saying I think this pay-per-view was stronger overall than Money in the Bank,
I don't know,
because Money in the Bank only really had the one strong match.
Technically, so did this one, Battleground.
No, this one had two strong matches.
Anyway, my point is, I don't think it was that bad, but it also wasn't that great. Yeah. And like you said, neither was Money in the Bank. And that's two straight SmackDown exclusive pay-per-views that were not that great. And look at what
Backlash, but that's another SmackDown pay-per-view.
And look at, I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. Backlash wasn't that good either, I don't think. He's saying.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember what happened at Backlash, to be honest. That's where Jinder won the title.
Yeah. And honestly, the only things that they're really doing good right now are this tag team divisions and the universal title picture on Raw.
WWE as a whole? No.
I'm saying that's the best things that they're doing right now.
Best things, yes, but you look at SmackDown's track record, and we'll get to the SmackDown that happened this week because it shows that things might be trending back upwards for SmackDown, an upward trend from what I think is a low. Okay. But Raw's firing on all cylinders, it seems, and SmackDown's kind of floundering. But that's it for Battleground. Before we move forward, we're going to go over our predictions. And what we had was English beat Dillinger We both had Dillinger, so neither one of us got that. I had Zayn over Canales. You had Canales over Zayn, so I got that. You had Charlotte to win the 5-way. I picked Natty. We both had Cena over Rusev. We both had Nakamura over Corbin.
Can I point out one thing, though?
What?
Well, two things I'll point out. One, I actually was kind of thinking English, but I was like, nah, Dillinger's probably going to win. And
not that it matters.
My person in the women's match was the last person eliminated, while yours was the first. So, anyway.
Wait, what?
Charlotte was the last person eliminated, and Tamina is...
I picked Natty, though.
No, I thought you picked Tamina.
No, I picked Natty. I was thinking of Tamina, and then I finally settled on Natty. We can go back and watch the footage.
All right, I thought you... Natty. All right, okay, never mind. I thought you picked Tamina for some reason.
I filled this all out during last week's show.
Okay.
So,
like I said, for some reason I thought you picked Tamina.
No, I picked Natty.
Okay.
So we both had Nakamura over Corbin. You had Owens. I had Styles, so you got that one. You had the Usos. I had the New Day, so I had that one. And then we both had Jinder over Randy, though we didn't imagine it'd be something like that. Grand total is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 to 4. So
good on you.
And still,
yep.
Going into SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year.
Which
as the reigning and defending predictions champion.
I just remembered something that I'm going to point out now that I just realized the other day.
What's that?
We are not going to be around for that.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that after the podcast. Let's talk about that after the podcast.
Okay.
I already addressed that to people on Discord, and I believe we'll probably have to do something 2 weeks before SummerSlam.
Yeah, 2 weeks because we're going to be in Florida.
Yeah, we'll be on vacation, so we may be taking a 2-week hiatus from Super Grapple Bros in the middle and towards the end of August. Just a heads up to you guys, because we're going on vacation. Well, he's going to be on vacation before me, but
we're still both going to be on vacation at that time.
But I was entertaining the idea of since my smartphone, since my Galaxy can go live and do IRL stuff on Twitch, that maybe we do some unofficial Super Grapple Bros like discussion stream or something during some downtime while we're on vacation, because we're going on vacation together with the whole family.
Yeah.
At the end of August.
And we may even be able to do something around or during that show, but we could talk about that later.
So yeah, now that's it for Battleground. Let's move into the week in review. I'll let you drive the Raw discussion.
Okay, first thing that happened on Raw was Kurt Angle came out and was like, I have a son. Yay, I have a son. But by the way, I have a son. Now anyway, with this Universal title picture, and then Braun Strowman came out and he's like, I deserve the title match. And then Samoa Joe came out being like, no, I deserve it. And then Roman Reigns came out being like, what the hell have you guys done? That was basically what he said, was just, I've been 3-time WWE champion. I've won the Royal Rumble. I've main evented WrestleMania 3 times. I've done all these things. What have you done? You haven't won a single title or anything. What have you done?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're talking about it early, because I'm going to be defending the title. We're going to do our SummerSlam predictions.
Yeah.
Whether that's 2 weeks ahead of time or in like a unofficial episode while we're on vacation, so... I will be defending my title for SummerSlam, and that rule doesn't apply to us anyway. For the 30-day vacation of the title, that doesn't work for the predictions title.
They all came out and made arguments, and then Kurt Angle was like, you know what? You've all got a point. Everyone gets a title match.
You know what's funny? Like Roman said that thing, like, what the hell have you done? What the hell have you done? And he listed all those things, and I'm like, damn. He's got a good point. No. I don't want him to, but he's got a good point, and I don't like it.
You know what my first thought was as soon as he said that? What have you guys done? For Joe to go,
beat you?
I've beaten the man that's done all that twice.
Mm-hmm.
And for Strowman to go, I beat you in an ambulance match a couple weeks ago on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So you've done all these things, but we've beaten the person that was able to do all those things.
Yeah.
So that kind of says something for them as characters. Yeah, they haven't done those things yet, but they haven't been around as long as him, and they've beaten him.
I would like to say every time I hear, when I was hearing you hear Kurt Angle say like, I have a son. I have a son. All I keep hearing is from Family Guy when Peter Griffin did the My Black Son song. Because somebody else already made like a quick video of it where it goes, My Black Son, My Black Son. And it's just like pictures from the promo
Every
of
day
like,
is hard, it's getting bigger.
Yeah, where Angle and Jordan are just hugging each other and smiling. And I just think of that video and I just...
Also, he's a ninja.
Yeah, also he's a ninja. So... I liked that segment.
Yeah.
We got the Fatal 4-Way that we were hoping for and wanting, and I think that's going to be an amazing match.
I already have an early prediction for that.
I hope Lesnar loses it, because I want to see the Universal Championship on Raw every single week. And I really don't care who wins it or takes it from Lesnar.
I'm fine with anyone winning, but I have a favorite, and I have a feeling we might share.
Are you going for Joe or Braun?
I'm going for Braun.
I think I might want Braun to win it, too. Like, as much as I kind of want Joe to win it, I feel like I want Braun to win it because Braun will get his first title win, and he's like the hottest thing in wrestling right now.
Exactly.
I mean, if your name's not Kenny Omega and you're not from Japan, but and you're not wrestling in Japan, but he also like can continue the rivalry with Roman Reigns, except with the Universal Championship on it, which has been the hottest angle. Hottest angle on Raw in WWE, possibly in general.
Yeah. And then you could always still have Samoa Joe get involved in the title picture anyway.
Yeah, I feel like
whoever
with the
wins,
way that they're getting behind
good.
Joe, I have no fears.
Yeah.
I have no fears or concerns that Joe is never going to win the championship.
Especially
I feel like it's a matter of when, not if, with him now.
I could also easily see after the Superstar shakeup, Samoa Joe go over to SmackDown and be like, "Hey, that WWE Championship,"
because we know Cena's gonna win. We'll get to that when we get to SmackDown, but yeah.
Which I have one thing I want to say about that, but anyway, next thing that happened on the show was the no disqualification match of Finn Balor versus Elias Samson, which was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was. That was probably the best match that Elias Samson, the Drifter, has had
ever. Yeah, and the match had an ending that was different, but you know what? I liked it.
The whole Wyatt boogity.
How it was coup de grace, and then before he could pin, the lights went out. And when they came back on, it wasn't even like he was standing behind him. Right? Like he already had him in position just standing there and then hit him with Sister Abigail. Mm-hmm. And Elias Samson just crawling over and pinning him as Bray Wyatt watched. I like that.
That's good Bray Wyatt booking there.
Exactly.
That's good Bray Wyatt booking instead of the whole... him talking nonsense for an hour. Now he's using actions to back up his threats and actually doing things to his opponent, to Finn Balor, as opposed to just rattling on in a black room with a fog machine for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I like the way that went. Mm-hmm. It was a good match overall, and it was enjoyable.
Yes.
And then after that, we had a squash match of Big Cass versus Enzo Amore.
Hey, Enzo, you haven't been murdered enough by Cass. We want to see it again. Go out there.
Enzo, do you still have all your teeth? All right, we got to fix that. Which it was just, it was still good.
It was meant solely to build up to what's going to be Big Show versus Big Cass at SummerSlam, which I don't know if it's going to be a great match, but I feel like it's exactly what Big Cass needs. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, I may be in the minority to say this, but I'm actually kind of happy to see Big Show in another pay-per-view match. It's not going to be a big match, but since he got screwed over by Shaq, I've kind of felt bad for him because he worked his ass off to get into the shape of his life.
Yeah.
For that match, and then he ended up in the Battle Royal. So I'm glad he gets like a match at a major pay-per-view again, even if it is him going up against Cass, and Cass is going to ultimately destroy him. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good use of Big Show. You don't have him on every week.
Sorry, you reminded me of something. Go on.
Where you don't have him on like maybe every week, and maybe he shows up every couple months, gets involved with somebody, has a singles match, it's lower on the card, he puts a guy over. Mm-hmm. That's, I think, the good use of Big Show. Big Show is no longer like the main event, can no longer go in main events and do all that stuff. He doesn't have the mobility anymore, unfortunately, because of how old he is. But
you know what's one thing I really like about this storyline too?
What?
Which I find funny? For years, it seemed, Big Show was constantly going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between face and heel.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this storyline with Enzo and Cass, especially when they were doing him first coming back and teaming with Enzo, and all the stuff about Cass talking about how he thinks Big Show attacked him in the back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The way Big Show is acting, you couldn't tell if he was gonna stay face or if he was about to turn heel, and he keeps staying face. And I like it.
Mm-hmm.
For once, his going back and forth as a heel and face actually has an impact.
Made it a
on.
mystery. It's like, oh, is Show lying? Is he telling the truth?
Exactly. So I like that.
And they did bring up the fact where like Cass basically brought up to Enzo during that whole thing, like, you know how many times he's turned his back on people? Like, you can't trust him.
Yeah, exactly.
But
one thing that reminded me of that we kind of glossed over at the beginning of the show, there was a brawl that ensued between Joe and Strowman and Roman.
And the entire locker room had to...
And that one poor security guard. I've been seeing so many
like
videos.
10 feet long. He almost hit like the actual like end of the ramp. He went so far.
Yeah.
Good God. Yeah, that main event angle is the hottest thing right now, and I am so excited to see it at SummerSlam.
And speaking of things that are not looking too hot right now, let's talk about Emma's career, which was next on the card.
At least Emma got on the show.
I'm glad about that. Although I thought it was kind of odd that her whole way of getting on the show is, hey, Kurt, I haven't been featured. I think I deserve to be featured. I know how I'll get your attention. I'll start dating your son. Well, now you get to be destroyed by Nia Jax. Have a good night.
Well, Nia here is hungry. And you look like a big enough meal. Have fun. I mean, I'm just glad that we actually got him on the show.
She did a little bit
given
of stuff
where her career is right now, and where Nia is right now, that made perfect sense. Yeah, that had to happen.
This is something I was talking about last week.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of stuff we need to see. Of having these people show up to face people like Nia and stuff like that. Even if they don't do great, you still see them on TV and know them, and you could then later start building them up. At least people know who the hell they are.
I'm hoping this is the start of, like, maybe Emma gets destroyed for a month or so because they have to reacquaint her to TV or get her personality reacquainted to people. But maybe, like, eventually she'll start gaining momentum and, like, surviving longer and longer against certain superstars and get a surprise win or two, and suddenly Emma's back in the mix. Because Emma's a really good superstar who just has never gotten her fair shake in the WWE on the main roster.
Yeah, and when she finally was going to get it earlier,
she got hurt.
Yeah, but so that was that.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads us into the whole weird thing with Akira Tozawa that they're doing now.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
In which now Arya Davari is getting involved in a title picture.
Yeah, it's like, when... I mean, I understand, like, Davari was in the mix with Tozawa, but it's like... I never really was big on Davari, and, like, out of all the cruiserweights in that division, like, you've got Brian Kendrick, TJP, Akira Tozawa...
Cedric Alexander.
Even oh god, what's his name? Who's been putting together the string of wins? Mustafa Ali,
Ali, Rich Swann,
Grand Metalik.
He hasn't been seen in months.
Yeah, but also Drew Gulak is a heel, I know, but like
Arya
Davari is the guy at the very bottom who I feel like would just show up and be part of a
Jack Gallagher
thing. Yeah,
there's
Jack
so
Gallagher.
many people.
Gentleman Jack Gallagher. It's just like, God.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the whole tension thing with Tozawa and Titus.
Yeah.
Because I think it's slowly trying to turn Titus face. So that way they could make the Titus brand a face thing. Because I think they're realizing it works better as a face thing.
Already a face at this point.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, this is to help him. Because they actually showed him actually talking and telling Tozawa, I know you're a tough as nails hard ass who
but he's
will
trying
fight
to
through it,
injure
but
you.
I want to protect you and keep you from getting injured because I'm your agent. I'm thinking about your long-term career.
Yeah. But it was a thing. It happened, and I hope they don't build Neville and Arya Davari in a match together.
I think it might be a triple threat match.
Nowhere...
Neville, Arya Davari, and Tozawa. Unless they did this solely so that way they're building towards Tozawa versus Davari in a number one contenders match that Tozawa wins to face Neville at.
So long as Davari stays away from Neville, then I'm fine, because he is nowhere near the Neville level.
Far from it.
Yeah, Neville's so good. And then the next thing is something that I actually had a prediction about that was right, that you had another prediction that was wrong, which was Sasha Banks versus Bayley in a match to determine the number one contender against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. And my God, that was a good match. And Alexa, I see you over there all lit up. You shut up.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, Echo.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, that was a good match on Raw.
I mean,
they killed it.
It's Sasha Bayley.
Yeah.
And they always kill it. And how that match, based on how that match went, plus what I believe is like a long arching storyline that's going to lead to Sasha Bayley at WrestleMania. Yeah. This actually, looking back at it, this fits perfectly into that narrative of why Sasha is going to get just slowly but surely secretly angrier and angrier and angrier at Bayley and just turn on Bayley. Because
she can't.
Because Bayley had the championship because Sasha helped all the time. She couldn't do it on her own. Then Sasha gets her fair shot finally again. Gets screwed over. And then Bayley comes back and challenges her and takes her opportunity to rematch away from her by beating her in the match.
Yeah, and then especially if Bayley isn't able to capture the title now, that'll just piss her off more because I know I can beat her and you stole my opportunity and you squandered it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or even if Bayley wins, she's jealous of Bayley for taking that opportunity from her.
It is nothing but good, and that match was really good. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy with it.
Yes.
Let's see. And then we had the debut of Kurt Angle's Black Sun on Monday Night Raw versus Kurt Hawkins. And
did you have to say it like that?
You started it.
I was referencing Family Guy.
And I was referencing this guy who's a part of his family. Anyway, they had a pretty match, I want to say. It was just a lot of Jason Jordan throwing Kurt Hawkins around. And he debuted a new finisher. What do you think of it?
What was the finisher again? I know it was like some sort of like lifting.
Similar to how he would lift for Grand Amplitude. He would get him for like a back suplex, lift him there,
and a neck breaker, right? Yeah. That was nice. He needs to make sure that he locks in the neck breaker part better when they fall and land, because it looks like he just barely touched Hawkins' head.
What I think would have been better is, I forget the name of the move, but the one where you pick him up for a back suplex and then you turn and use your arm to slam them to the ground. I feel like that would have worked really well for him as a finisher.
Yeah.
But we'll see if he can improve upon this one.
I mean, it's a simpler one, so that way when if they do push him to the moon and he ends up going into the main event and he ends up facing like bigger guys like say a Bray Wyatt or a Braun Strowman or a Kevin Owens, I think like it's easier to do a back suplex that turns into a neck breaker without getting a lot of air, as opposed to trying to do something super overly complicated.
Well, the move I'm talking about is you just lift him in the air and then you just turn your body. It's not that complicated. But anyway, it did its thing.
It was a squash match. Jason Jordan looked good, and the good thing about this is Jason Jordan showed his intensity. One of his father's three eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of Jason Jordan's strongest assets, is that he can be intense and fierce and being really intimidating in the ring when he gets aggravated and angry or gets like all worked up. So I think that was a good job there.
Sorry, not much sleep last night. Yeah, did what we need to do. And next we get to what is one of my favorite things of the show.
What's that?
The Top Guys.
Oh yeah,
came out
thing.
And they had a match with Gallows and Anderson, and they beat Gallows and Anderson, and that made me so happy. The way they did it was a little weird, but
it's good to see an NXT tag team actually do something successful. Because I mean, American Alpha won a tag title, but then they didn't know what to do with them, and then now they're on different brands.
Yeah, and Simon Gotch is now gone, and just
the Ascension are still a joke. Yep. Which we forgot to mention from Battleground.
I don't think it even needs mentioning.
Well, I mean, I think they basically use the Ascension as a comedy gimmick back then.
Yeah.
There, instead of being intimidating, which I hated. But I think it's Eric Rowan and Luke Harper teamed back up again.
I hope not.
I think so, because what else are they going to do with them?
They could give Luke Harper a title
They're
match.
not going to, though.
They could.
They
though.
never will.
They should.
I'm not arguing whether or not they should. I think they should too, but they're not going to. It's too crowded at the top right now, and they want to push Jinder Mahal. So they're probably going to tag them both back up again and make them strong in the tag division until it's time to maybe set Luke Harper off in singles again.
All I know is Luke Harper has far outgrown Eric Rowan, and
he has, but they have nothing for him right now, so they're going to do this that way they have something for him instead of just let him not be on TV.
Maybe if they gave people that deserve title matches the title matches instead of people who don't really deserve them, then.
But they're growing in India; they must have title on Jinder.
No.
Anyway, let's keep moving on with Raw.
The match ended with Revival and Gallows and Anderson. The way that I thought was kind of odd, where the Revival were setting up for the win, and then the Hardys came out and they got distracted.
They teased coming out, I think, didn't they, or did they actually?
No, they came out.
Okay.
And then Gallows and Anderson threw them out of the ring, and then they stared down the Hardys and started pointing at them and everything, and then they knocked, I think the Revival came back in, and I believe it was Dawson threw Gallows out of the ring, and then they gave Anderson the Shatter Machine and picked up the win. And then they brawled a little bit with the Hardys and got sent packing. But I am so happy that the Revival have not lost a match on Raw.
Yeah, I guess we're not getting the broken gimmick with the Hardys with the way that they came back. I guess things with Anthem fell apart, which really, really sucks. It makes me really hate Anthem and Global Force Wrestling. Because it seems like this was the moment where they really wanted to turn them into the broken Hardys, but I guess they really can't, and I don't know if we're ever going to get it. We might just have to deal with the Hardy Boys just teasing being broken.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a tag team action, and I am very happy with the fact that the Revival won, and I hope they keep winning, and I hope they get title matches and they win the title and they hold the title forever. Anyway, the main event of the night was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus the Miz and the Miz Taraj,
which we had a good
3-on-2 handicap match.
We had a good promo from Rollins and Ambrose earlier on about it, which was good.
Yeah,
and I really liked this angle.
I liked how the end of it was. You see, when we're in that ring tonight, you have to look out after 3 guys.
I gotta look out after 4.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. And I like what they did after the match of how they were celebrating and they were hugging and everything, and then Seth just looked at him and just went.
And Dean just walked away.
Yeah, and
Dean was just and left.
Yeah.
He's like, which is interesting. I like this story. It's like Seth is trying to make amends with Dean. In a way. Mostly he wanted to get back at Miz, but now I think he's trying to make amends with Dean.
Yeah, it started
And Dean is just like, I don't trust you. And at the end of that match, he's like, we're not there yet. We made progress, but we're not there yet, and I still don't fully trust you.
Yeah.
And we'll see if that leads to them being friends again, or if we'll get a double turn or a turn from Dean Ambrose and he will be the one to stab Rollins in the back.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, if they have another match, good, but I mean,
what
they're doing now is good.
I will say, I love it when Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins wrestle. They put on great matches, so I would not be opposed to another Dean Ambrose-Seth Rollins feud.
Oh, I agree. And one other thing I want to point out is with how good Dean Ambrose is with, being very violent and being one of the most extreme guys on the roster, it won't hurt to have him be a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, he's not doing much of his face. It's always him chasing after title and chasing and chasing and chasing. If he's a heel that will do whatever it takes, that completely changes how it'll be. And I think he'd do a lot better as that, but... You looking for this?
The SmackDown results?
Yep.
Yes. So we are going into Raw, because now that Raw is done, into SmackDown Live, and I'm trying to remember the order of everything. Yes.
It was The Return.
Well, first off, that's not exactly how it started.
Fine.
Kevin Owens came out and said, yes, I'm the United States champion again, and you can all deal with it. I am better than all of you, and I'm going to bring back the U.S. title open challenge. And then AJ came out and said, I deserve a rematch, so you should face me tonight. And Kevin Owens was like, I'm not facing you in a rematch. These people, these, like, what is he said, like, backwater hicks of Richmond, Virginia don't deserve it. And then as he was getting ready to leave, Jericho's music hit. And Chris Jericho's back. Yay! Which is good, because SmackDown needed a shot in the arm, and Jericho provided it on
the return of Jericho. Drink it in, man.
And then he said, well, I never got a rematch for my United States title shot, so you should be facing me tonight. And then, like, AJ's like, no, you're at the back of the line. I was the one who most recently lost it, so I should get the next shot. And Jericho's like, did you just cut me in line? Did you just cut me in line? You know, a guy cut me in line the other day at the supermarket buying groceries. And you know what happened to him, huh? You know what happens when you cut in line? You just made the list. And he writes AJ Styles on the list.
Nice.
So he brought the list of Jericho back with him. Then Daniel Bryan, I believe, came out. And he said, you know what? I got a good idea. Because Owens was like, I'm not facing either. He's like, you don't make the matches, Kevin. I do. That's my job. And tonight, you're going to be defending the United States Championship against both AJ Styles and Chris Jericho in the main event. And that was that, which was good. Jericho's back. I feel like that injected a much needed life into SmackDown after it's been kind of floundering. So that's good. Jericho. Before we continue into SmackDown, Big Stupid wants to bring up the PWI Insiders reporting that Triple H was upset at Rollins and Ambrose for hugging because he thinks it ruined the payoff.
Well, then why did you hug Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, Triple H? Moving on.
Well, that's a totally different thing, but totally different. But yeah,
at least they weren't.
I don't really care. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So as we move on with SmackDown, we then got the rematch of Nakamura versus Corbin, which is the match that should have happened at Battleground. It was basically Corbin got a little bit of offense in, had a near fall opportunity when he hit the deep six, but aside from that, it was pretty much Shinsuke Nakamura kicking the crap out of Baron Corbin.
Well, from what I understand, it seems at SmackDown Live now, when they have a pay-per-view, they'll do a match. And people will be like, that wasn't a good match. And like, okay, let us try again on SmackDown. And then they get it right on SmackDown.
Yeah, which is kind of not the way you want to run a brand.
Exactly.
But Nakamura hit the Kinshasa, got the clean win. Kinshasa! And that was it for there. And then we got the tag match of Charlotte and Becky versus Lana and Tamina. And we believed coming out of Battleground that Lana and Tamina were gonna become a thing, like a duo, and that Tamina was maybe gonna protect Lana, kind of like how Nia did for Eva Marie in NXT.
Okay.
But then Lana, like, Tamina was doing well against the other two, and then Lana came in. They dumped Tamina. They both destroyed Lana, and Lana took the pin. And then Tamina's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And it looked like Lana was about to break down and cry. And Tamina walked off on Lana. So we might be getting like a Tamina versus Lana rivalry.
I know it.
What?
They have acquired the broken gimmick, and they're going to do Broken Lana. That's the way SmackDown seems to be going now. Just whatever
I'm gonna give you a SmackDown for that horrible. So I mean, I wouldn't mind that because it's a lower in the card rivalry for Lana. She doesn't have the spotlight on her, and Tamina has lots of experience and can help her out and help her improve.
Yeah, that's true.
So if that's the way they're going, I'm fine with it. And then Jinder Mahal came out without the Singh brothers, without Khali, all by himself, and said that Khali basically, that he, with the help of Great Khali, or he like dashed the hopes of Randy Orton, that Randy Orton will never challenge for the title again. So he wants to know who dares to challenge the modern day Maharaja next. And then
I'll do it. Mr. So many titles on his waist.
So Cena comes out and says, I'll do it, but the funny thing is, he said something along the lines of like, but you've never met me before, so let me break it down to you, like, what I'm all about and what you're all about. Now, I'm kind of like,
didn't he beat all three members of 3MB?
Yeah, I was like, Jinder Mahal's been in the WWE for years. I'm a member of 3MB, and I'm pretty sure they all got destroyed by you at least once.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've met Jinder Mahal. like some people, like sometimes the writing, it's just like know your own history.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you don't want to acknowledge like Jinder's old gimmick, at least acknowledge the fact that like they wrestled each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I believe it was Daniel Bryan or Shane McMahon came out and then said, well, Daniel Bryan came out and was like, well, John, you know what? I got things confused actually. Daniel Bryan came out and this is where he said, you guys don't make the matches. I do. And he said, I'm going to have next week, number one contender match for Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam, John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And earlier on in the match, in the day, in a backstage promo, after the whole opening segment ended, because Owens walked off, he was talking to Shane, and Shane was like, oh, well, you know what, you're facing both of them in the main event for the title.
Okay.
Because he was talking trash to Shane. And Shane's like, well, okay.
Can I say the one issue I have with this whole thing with Cena?
What?
If you're going to have Cena come back and face Rusev, and then you're going to have Cena go and challenge Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship, what was the point of making him a free agent already if he's only doing SmackDown stuff right now and not wait till later on?
He's only doing SmackDown stuff right now, but who knows what he's going to do later. They're doing this just to establish the fact that he can change whenever, as opposed to him coming back as a SmackDown superstar and then 2 months in be like, oh, I'm a free agent now. LOL, switch.
I can understand that, but I'm saying, why not do it like right after SummerSlam?
Because then he wouldn't be back until after SummerSlam. I don't think you bring him. He already had a hiatus. Bring him back as a free agent establishes already in the minds of the fans and prepares them for the fact that he could switch over and battle people on Raw. He's only doing SmackDown stuff now, but now we know he's doing stuff on SmackDown now, but at any moment he could go over and battle somebody on Raw.
I just feel like it would have been better because a lot of people had an issue with the whole him being a free agent thing. If they were just like, he came back, had the match with Rusev at Battleground, had the match at SummerSlam and all that, and then after that him be like, I've been doing some negotiations and I'm no longer going to be SmackDown exclusive, I'm now going to be free agent after he's done some stuff already. Because if him going out, I could switch between brands, but I'm going to stick with this one because I like it.
Yeah, because
it's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, because he came out to make a promo. Rusev started talking smack to him, so he's like, all right, you're first. And then Jinder comes out and says, I want to challenge him for my title, and he's John frickin' Cena. He wants a championship match. So it makes sense storyline-wise.
I understand that. I'm just saying that I feel like they could have waited with them saying he's going to be free agent if the whole idea of him being a free agent is he could go back and forth, but he's sticking with the one show. I really don't
think it matters when he announced it. I think it's fine when he announced it, when he did. It really makes no difference either way.
Yeah.
So we've got Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena next week, which a lot of people are upset that that's not a pay-per-view match. But I mean, I kind of understand because who knows if they will actually ever have a chance to do Cena versus Nakamura.
And by the way, why do that when you could have Nakamura versus Baron Corbin and John Cena versus Rusev in a flag match instead?
Well, their debate, I don't know, but like the reason why they put Rusev against Cena is that way they could build up his whole pro-America thing for when he went up to Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
It was a way to get his character set for Jinder Mahal. Exactly. So that's why they couldn't do it then. So now they're thinking, here's our chance to get Nakamura in there, and you can give Nakamura his first loss, and I don't care how much people want to complain. If his first loss is to John Cena, that's not hurting Nakamura at all. You're losing to your first loss in WWE is to one of two people to ever win 16 world titles in their career.
Yeah, that's like if someone were to complain about how John Cena lost his debut match to fucking Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Like, these people are here and have done the thing. They've done the thing very well for a very long time. It's okay if they beat someone.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah. It's kind of like when people got upset that Punk lost the title to Rock, which I can understand because that set up the Rock Cena rematch, which almost became a triple threat. But it's like, if Punk's gonna lose the championship, he lost it to the frickin' Rock.
Yeah, but then again, that's also a thing of it's not so much of they're upset that he lost to the Rock so much as it was that he lost to a part-timer. Yeah, and it's just the idea of like how you want to see someone win the title off of Lesnar because you want to see the title every week, and that's kind of what it was there.
Yeah, but people were like, almost violently upset over the whole Rock thing, where people just don't care about Lesnar as much.
Because people had a huge obsession with CM Punk.
Yeah. Well, I'm just making the point. It's
and that also ended a 434-day long title reign.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but yeah, I understand what you mean.
I think it's fine.
I think
it's going to be an awesome match.
Yeah, it'll be a good
match.
Nakamura
will be okay. Nakamura will take his first loss from John Cena.
And if for some reason there's some kind of hiccup, then we get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
If there's a mess up like there was with Styles and Owens, apparently, but...
So, we'll see what happens. I'm happy. I don't mind. I'm excited for
it'll be a good match.
And then we had Zayn and Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English and Mike Canales, which kind of rectified the whole Aiden English beating
Ty Dillinger
thing. Canales once again took the fall from Zayn via Haluva kick, but it was a thing of Dillinger had Canales in the corner, and Aiden English went to attack Dillinger from behind, or ran at Dillinger when he turned around, and Dillinger basically sidestepped him and shoved him into Canales, and then pushed him out of the way, and Sami Zayn basically came up right behind English with a Haluva kick.
That's a very good finish, yeah.
And pinned him. So it was a very good match. I don't think it hurt anybody. I think it did exactly what it needed to do. And then we had all the New Day thing with the Usos, and this is what I was talking about when I said this angle continues to be white hot. The New Day comes out, or they go to come out. Big E starts this thing that goes, "Oh, WWE Universe, don't you dare be sour." And then it stops. And you don't hear anything. And then Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston get chucked out onto the entrance ramp, and it's the Usos. And the Usos jumped Kofi and Xavier while Big E wasn't paying attention and doing the intro for the New Day, and they just start brutally attacking them. And the Usos threw Kofi into the side of the entranceway video board, the side that doesn't really move so much, and he bumped it and it looked like they murdered him.
Jesus.
And then Big E came out to try and make the save, and by then it was a 2-on-1, and they super kicked the hell out of Big E and took him out.
Super kick party.
So it was great. It showed that even though they lost their titles, this rivalry is far from over, because the Usos have become vicious, brutal, violent heel
thugs.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say thugs. I was going to say superstars or a team.
Well, they usually refer to someone as a thug if they sneak up from behind and attack.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it was a great way to reignite the flame of that rivalry after their last match.
I think that's why they had the New Day win, because now they get a mandatory rematch, and this will build to one hell of a match at SummerSlam. And what I want to know is, who's going to have the better tag title match at SummerSlam? Is it going to be SmackDown, or is it going to be Raw? Because, this is good. Because I'm saying both their tag divisions are so good right now.
Raw's is going to be good, but it's going to be the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus again.
I hope not.
No, it is going to be, because Cesaro and Sheamus still have the titles, and this whole storyline is the Hardys falling from grace just to fight their way back up for the championship.
The reason I'm hoping that is because while they're going down, they're building up somewhat of a rivalry between the Hardys and the Revival now, and the Revival is building up as well.
The Revival, hate to say it, I know you like the Revival. The Revival's a really good cold tag team. They're being used as a placeholder right now because Sheamus is off shooting a movie.
They're a placeholder team. I really hope they get a title match,
and
because they are the
there's
top
also the
guys.
fact that the Hardys are the only face tag team on Raw.
Unless you consider Seth and Dean a tag team. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I think that's still going to be Hardys versus Sheamus and Cesaro, and then you've got New Day Usos. Those are two really good tag matches.
Yeah. Exactly, it's going to be great. And one thing that I love about this is we see how good the tag team division is this day in WWE. This is, in my opinion, kind of the Usos saying, "We effing told you so" to WWE, with how how their tag titles weren't even mentioned during all of WrestleMania weekend. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania week, not a single mention of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
The tag division on the main roster is an interesting beast, because all the teams that are hot right now are hot and are good. However, there are so many teams that I feel like should have gotten a better shake that have been broken up this year.
Yeah.
Enzo and Cass, American Alpha. I mean, the Vaudevillains was backstage drama with Simon Gotch, but like
Ciampa and Gargano.
Well,
they're not main roster, but that's kind of what that happened for. Like all these great tag teams are breaking up now.
Yeah, I feel like we have a deficiency of face tag teams in both NXT and WWE and the main roster because we've got I think it's the Hardys, the New Day, Fashion Police, Heavy Machinery. That's it. They're trying to make sanity tweeners, and if we hear if TM61 ever comes back, I'm starting to worry that TM61 might just get released.
I hope not. And maybe Street Profits, if they're gonna be face, if they're gonna be heel, we don't know.
I think they look like they're gonna be face, but we haven't seen them debut, and we don't know if they're actually gonna stick. Yeah. So.
I really hope TM61 comes back though because they were so good, and they made it to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic this year.
So then we had the main event, which was AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship match, which was amazing.
Well, look at who's in the match.
Pay-per-view quality match. Like honestly, if you would put that match on Battleground, I don't know if it would have been better than what the Usos and the New Day did, because what they did was amazing, but it would have rivaled them.
It would have been close.
It would have challenged for best match of the night.
I believe it. And you got AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens.
And the way that it ended, I was okay with the title changing hands, because the way it ended, it was basically they had a really cool segment where like what was it? Jericho, I think, hit AJ with a kick. Then walked into a super kick from Owens, who then turned into a Pele kick from AJ, and then Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb on Jericho and went to go for the pin, and AJ, I don't think he hit the phenomenal forearm, but he came out of nowhere and like grabbed Owens and just dumped him out of the ring and pinned Jericho for the 3 count.
All right.
And got the 3. And so then Owens immediately went to the microphone, grabbed the microphone, and said, "No, that's ridiculous. That's bullcrap. You stole my title from me. You stole this win. I want my rematch." So out came Shane and said, "Okay, next week rematch, Owens, Styles, United States Championship match." So despite how bad Battleground was, SmackDown kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
Because you had a solid show with some really good matches. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week with the Usos and the New Day. You've got Nakamura versus Cena for the first time ever next week. And you've got Styles Owens for a United States Championship match. Tell me that's not a SmackDown you want to watch.
It's not, because Jinder Mahal still has the title.
I know what you're... Put that aside. Like imagine Jinder Mahal wasn't champion, and I just tell you that.
Then let me just say this. I don't have that much time to watch wrestling.
All right, well, I'm just saying, like, tell me that doesn't sound like an exciting episode of SmackDown.
It does.
Like, this is why I feel like, plus Jericho's back, so who knows what Jericho's going to do next week. So it's like,
add more people to
this is where I feel like SmackDown with Money in the Bank and Battleground have kind of hit the bottom, and now I think there's only nowhere to go but up, and they're starting to turn the corner and slowly get back up, and it's good because it's happening at the right time, because SummerSlam's coming up, and if they want their matches to be exciting as Raw's at SummerSlam, they got a lot of work to do, because Raw's like firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, and also coming up, which I think is going to be, in my opinion, match quality probably better than SummerSlam around the same time, is TakeOver Brooklyn 3. And this week on NXT, we start having some build-up for it, and I'm getting excited.
Good segue.
Thank you. The first part of the night was Ember Moon coming out and doing a promo on Asuka, which was good.
It was good.
And then this monster of a woman, Lady Tapa, came out, and she wrecked Ember Moon to start the match. And then Ember took control quickly, hit a few moves, hit the Eclipse, got the pin. Did what it needed to do. It introduced a new superstar. Who showed that she's big and strong, but also showed that Ember Moon can still overcome and win, and show that she is championship material, leading into her match against Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn. And then after that, we went to have a match of the Authors of Pain versus David Ramos and Timothy Bumpers. But that match never happened because of a new budding rivalry for the NXT Tag Team titles, which is, before the match could even start, Sanity came out and just destroyed these two guys and then brawled with the Authors of Pain. Actually, while the Authors of Pain were walking down to the ring, Nikki Cross got in the way of them and stopped them, and then Sanity came in and took them out.
I don't know what to make of this rivalry, though, because it's like two heel teams going at one another. It's like, I don't know who to invest or root for, because, like, I like Sanity. I certainly like Killian Dane, but like I don't want to cheer them because of their gimmick. I'm really hoping TM61 comes in and like does something, because I need a face to cheer for in this situation.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that statement, but I feel like what they were trying to do, which is something I find absolutely hilarious, is I feel like they were trying to set it up with the way things are going, a little bit of trying to make Authors of Pain more faces than Sanity, because Sanity's coming out doing these attacks, doing all these things, but the people are cheering for Sanity over Authors of Pain.
Crowd
I find it so funny.
Sanity at NXT this week, or booed Authors of Pain.
Yeah, they booed Authors of Pain, which they always do, and you heard some people cheering for Sanity, which I kind of like, because I really like Sanity and hope to see them do something, but I don't think they're going to beat Authors of Pain, but I really hope TM61 comes back.
And also, where the hell is Eric Young? Is he hurt or something? Because I haven't seen him in a while.
I do not know. It's making me really concerned, because I feel like whatever it is, it should have been Eric Young versus Drew McIntyre last week, not Killian Dane.
Yeah.
Because they even during that week is when they started putting in the seeds of Authors of Pain and Sanity before that match even happened.
Yeah,
so
I mean, they did hint last week that, like, was this what Eric Young was talking about plans behind the scenes? So I think maybe he's got a minor injury or something.
Yeah.
And, like, everything that Sanity is doing, he's organizing off camera.
Yeah, hopefully he gets better if he is injured and shows up, like, at TakeOver or something. But yeah, it was interesting. The Authors of Pain sent Sanity packing, but Sanity was still smiling. After that, we had the Velveteen Dream face Cesar Bonani. And it was a okay match. It was kind of weird. Bonani had got the first couple of hits, just went right after the Dream, and then the Dream hit a few moves. One which was really interesting that they called a Death Valley Bomb instead of Driver. It was basically,
I kind of was in and out with this match.
Well, Death Valley Driver, where you basically have them like this and you drive them basically on their neck.
Yeah.
He went and did that, but he didn't drive him on his neck. He basically did a cartwheel with the guy, and then he landed standing, and the guy was landing on the ground.
Yeah, I've seen that move before.
Yeah, and they called it the Death Valley Bomb, which I haven't heard before, but. And then he did his elbow drop off the top, got the pin.
I just have a hard time getting behind Velveteen Dream.
Yeah,
I just can't buy the gimmick.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't buy it. I don't buy what Patrick Clark is selling, to be honest. Which sucks, because I like Patrick Clark as a person. Yeah. And he's got talent.
He does have talent, but
I just don't like the gimmick.
Yeah, it's not a good gimmick for him. You can tell he's really trying, and I think it may even be that he's trying too hard.
Yeah.
Then Drew McIntyre came out
Cut a good promo.
Yeah, he cut a good promo talking about how, he came into WWE being expected to being given everything.
He came in and was almost entitled.
Yeah, he even said he came in and was entitled. And that it didn't work out, and then he decided to become not only the hardest worker in the room, but also the hardest worker in the world. Yeah,
he said that his entitlement led to laziness, which is what caused him to get let go from WWE in the first place. Which was good. And then he finished it up saying that one of the reasons why he wants to beat Bobby Roode is because he looks at Bobby Roode and he sees someone who's entitled and feels like everything belongs to him.
Yep. So
he basically spun that around and was like, I used to be entitled. I look back at myself and hate myself for ever being like that. And now I've dedicated myself to fight and earn everything I get. And I look at Bobby Roode and what he's saying is basically I see a younger version of myself and I want to beat that younger version of myself because nobody's entitled to anything.
Yep. And then the last match was Cassius Ohno versus Hideo Itami, which was a good match.
Good match, not great.
Yeah, it was a good match. And then it got ended by
Baron Corbin treatment.
Yeah, basically. Hideo kicked him as I loved how Mo said it. He said, "Oh my goodness, Hideo Itami just kicked Cassius Ohno in the peninsula south of the equator." And then I think it was Nigel McGuinness was like, "Think about how bad that must hurt, seeing how he just got kicked below the belt by one of the strongest strikers in the game today." Mm-hmm. And then just proceed to beat the crap out of him after that. Pretty much him with 2 GTSs.
Technically 3, but he dropped him on the steel stairs for the third one.
Yeah, true, yeah. But it was good.
Yeah, that was what needed to happen from that story. Exactly. And now we'll go forward and we'll get Cassius Ohno versus Hideo Itami, I'm sure. TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Itami finally goes full heel. He's sick and tired of losing. He's sick and tired of coming up short. He's sick and tired of people telling him how to act. So he's just doing whatever the hell he wants now, and he's taking out his frustration on Cassius Ohno. Yep. Who's trying to tell him how to act and who to be.
Now, there's only one critique I have of this entire show, and I want to see if you can guess what that is.
Velveteen Dream?
Well, that is a critique, but I didn't think it was that bad for the show.
I don't know.
We were promised a match this week that we didn't get.
What were we promised?
We were promised Danny Burch versus Orny Logan 2. Lorgan, yeah. And that didn't happen this week. I'm hoping it happens next week. Or maybe at the venue of TakeOver Brooklyn, or at least that might be the rubber match or something. But I want to see those two go at it again. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about that.
And that does it for wrestling.
Yep.
So now we're going to transition into gaming news, which will probably not be anywhere near as long as we just talked about wrestling.
Yep. And we're going to transfer from the knockout artist Cassius Ohno to the knockout artist Doomfist in Overwatch. With
weekly Overwatch news.
Doomfist has been released for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And I am so upset because I have not gotten to play as him yet. Overwatch, get your servers in order. Come on.
Yeah, you had server issues, right?
Yeah, I was trying for, it took me, they announced that he was going to be released at 2:15. That's when they announced that he was officially released and everyone could download, get the update and everything. It took me about 45 minutes to finally get a hold of the update because it would not find it at all, even though I kept doing check for update. 45 minutes to finally get it and then download it and everything. And then I think I played half of a match because I got dropped in at the end of a Doomfist elimination thing. Mm-hmm. And then literally any other match type I tried to join. 1-on-1 duel, 3-on-3 lockout, random people, capture the flag, all those things. None of them would load. It would keep doing the search for a game, and it'd say joining game, and it would just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and then never actually load.
That sucks.
So good job releasing Doomfist. Now how about you let us play it?
Servers probably crashed or were overloaded from all the people trying to get in to play Doomfist.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was saying estimated time to find match 2 seconds. Well, and I couldn't get into any of the matches.
Well, I've been in plenty of situations on both PC and PS4 where it'll tell me, 50 seconds to join a game, and 5 minutes later I'm sitting there and they get thrown to a skirmish where everybody quits out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between that and estimated time for a game, 2 seconds. You find one in 1 second, and then it never actually lets you join the game. And it's not even that the timer kept continuing and you got sent into a skirmish. It literally just sat there on the screen saying join game until you canceled it.
Mm-hmm. I did not play Doomfist yesterday because my gaming time went to PUBG, working on some strats there.
Good game.
But I did get to play Doomfist in the public test server. He was fun. I just haven't been able to try him out in a actual competitive setting or a setting where you can only play as one character. Yeah. You can't have multiple Doomfists running around. So, hopefully we can maybe talk more about that next week or whatever.
Yeah, and they also for some reason got rid of no limits, which I don't understand. You want it I was hoping to do that because then you'd have a bunch of Doomfists and I get to try out other characters and see how they work against him. But
you can do that in pretty much everything. Doomfist, he's a good versatile character and he's such a popular character in the Overwatch lore that I'm sure he's going to be a popularly played character for quite a while. So I'm sure you'll be able to play test yourself out against him.
But I just want to do that now.
Patience, young one.
Well, another group of people that's also pretty upset right now are some people who pre-ordered the SNES Classic from Walmart because apparently they had a technical glitch which allowed for about an hour pre-orders to be done both in person and online. And now they're like, oh wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. We're canceling it. Sorry. And as of last heard, they're not offering anyone any kind of compensation for that.
Are you serious? Like, they're not getting their money back?
Well, they'll get the money that they put down back, and if they used a credit card, there was no money put down, and so the order will just be canceled.
Well, that's fine.
But I know a lot of people are like, you told me that I was going to get this thing, and then all of a sudden you're just like, no, you're not going to give it to me. And there are other companies where when things like that have happened, they're like, well, here's a $5 gift card to say we're sorry or something like that.
You really don't have to do that, though.
You don't have to,
it's
but...
an issue. Like...
A lot of people are upset about it because they're like, yes, now we finally will be able to get it. And no, sorry, technical glitch.
I mean, it sucks, but it's not like pre-orders didn't start up yet in earnest yet for the SNES Classic yet, have they? Or they're not sold out already, are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, what's worse, the fact that they pre-order it and it gets figured out now, or they realize it when the SNES actually comes out and they're like there at the store.
But I mean, I'd also be kind of annoyed if I was like, oh yes, it's available for pre-order, I'm gonna pre-order it right now, and then a few weeks later like, oh sorry, no pre-orders.
I feel like, well, shit. But
I feel like people get more upset about things like that than others.
It sucks, but I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. I think people are making it out to be a bigger deal than it is.
Oh yeah, definitely. One thing that is also what I would consider not that big of a deal, but some people are making it a pretty big deal, is Sims 4 is coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
That's not nice to Sims fans.
I'm just not a big fan of The Sims. Some people are very excited about it. I'm just kind of like, good for Sims. Yay.
I remember playing the original Sims when I was a freshman in college, and it got addicting. And then I stopped, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again because this is dangerous.
I remember doing things like putting people in a house with no bathroom.
Making them poo themselves to death in like a little tiny box room.
Well, our friend Connor used to go and put people in a pool and then get rid of the ladder, and they couldn't get out of the pool and make them drown.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
It's horrible. Sims is basically, it's like, you could simulate somebody's life, or you could just be a horrible, terrible god who just punishes and tortures everyone.
Oh, you're a cute little kid, aren't you? Well, I'm gonna leave you in this room with a fridge and no toilet and no way out. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is it's the first Sims game coming to consoles since 2010, so a lot of people are getting excited about that.
Oh yeah, that's right. PUBG is getting a new gun.
Ooh.
Would you be able to look that up real quick?
I could see about
PUBG
that.
is getting a new gun. I didn't hear about the custom skins, but I did hear about the new gun. Any chance you can tell us about one of the other stories while you're looking that up?
Yeah, they are now going to be releasing Elder Scrolls Legend, the card game that they have for mobile devices. It originally was only out on PC and Android, or on Apple. They have now officially released it on Android.
Yeah, they showed a trailer for that for like the first expansion or whatever at E3, I believe, right?
Yeah.
For the Skyrim expansion.
Yeah, the Skyrim expansion, which that's one thing everyone wants more of, is more Skyrim, because we don't have enough Skyrim, right?
We have way too much Skyrim. Way too much Skyrim
I'm so excited to play Skyrim on the Switch and use the motion controls now, eh?
No.
Maybe no. Skyrim VR? Any other form of Skyrim we could do for you?
Skyrim fishing VR?
That beautiful. Beautiful. That perfect.
Skyrim horseback ride simulator.
God.
VR experience to the max extreme.
God. So much Skyrim.
I hate
it's
that
getting
Final Fantasy
ridiculous.
15 VR game concept.
So ridiculous.
So yeah, there's the Elder Scrolls. That's the Elder Scrolls news. Good for Elder Scrolls fans. I normally don't play. The only card games I play are Hearthstone and the new Dragon Ball Super game that comes out, which I am hyped for. At the pre-release event last weekend, got myself a box, starter deck, special pack. Pumped.
Yeah. With PUBG, the next monthly update is going to be including the MK14 EBR. It's going to be a marksman rifle.
So sniper rifle?
Yeah. Gun is a DMR, designated marksman rifle, just like the SKS rifle. Mm-hmm. That's already in PUBG, and will also use 7.62 ammo as well.
Stays consistent with pretty much all the other snipers, except for the VSS. We hate you, VSS! We don't care if you come with a silencer. You have no range. You use 9mm ammo, so you don't do a lot of damage. VSS.
Yeah, the gun will start out as a care package drop.
So it's only going to be in the care package like the bullpup rifle?
To start off, yes.
Anything in there about the custom skins?
This new one will be part of a new monthly update next week, which will also see the addition of first-person only servers and cosmetic microtransactions.
So custom skins, is that for, did they mention anything if that's for weapons or characters or whatnot? Probably for weapons.
Yeah, that's all it says.
You can probably buy like camo covers that you can like put on that like your weapons
show up
will
on
have
certain
when you
weapons
pick them
you
up.
grab or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then our last bit of news this week is one thing that we may be dealing with shortly, which is new changes to TSA rules, which will now make it so that way pretty much anything bigger than a cell phone that is an electronic will now have to be removed from any carry-on bags and put into a separate bin. So you got an iPad or a tablet, it's got to go in a separate bin. You got a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation Vita or anything like that, you got to take it out and put it so that way there's nothing on top of it in another bin, which is probably going to make lines get longer and longer and longer.
So like if you have a tablet and a Vita, the Vita has to go in a bin, the tablet has to go in the bin, and then the bag has to go into a third bin.
So long as they wouldn't, like, if the Vita and the tablet, like, let's say these are them, you could put them in a bin, and they're flat, and there's nothing on top of them, they could be in the same bin.
I don't see, like, that's a problem, really, because until I got used to it, when I was doing a lot of travel for Up, Down, Down at WWE, like, I was always taking, like, my 2DS and my tablet and my laptop and my Vita all out of the bag and putting them in the bin anyway, just to not have to deal with any BS in case like anybody like saw anything in the bag and thought it was questionable. So like, I mean, for me personally, I don't see like that's a big deal. It takes you maybe another 2 seconds.
And I know a lot of people are upset with it because part of the reason they're doing it is because of the fact that people are cramming more and more stuff into the carry-ons, which is because a lot of airlines now
charging bag fees.
Yeah, they're now charging bag fees. No more free bags, which is pretty ridiculous. And so lines in a lot of airports are getting even longer and taking longer to get through. People are complaining about it because, like, in the 10 airports that they've tested this out in, because it takes that much extra time for the people that wouldn't normally do that to do it. Mm-hmm. And so it's just making going through the airport that much more of a hassle.
So get to the airport a little earlier. If you're aiming for an hour and a half, maybe aim for an hour and 45, 2 hours before.
Yeah, exactly.
Give yourself that little bit extra time.
And that does it for this week in our video game news.
That means that has brought episode 17 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast to a close. Mm-hmm. Next week is the last week that we are guaranteed to be doing it on Friday, like probably during the day.
Yeah.
The one after that we might do Friday afternoon or maybe that's Saturday. Actually, we can't do it that Saturday. I'm actually going to be gone all day, so I might have to do it that Friday evening.
Okay.
So, probably that Friday evening. And then that'll be it for a couple weeks, unless you guys get us on vacation doing some mini-sodes. It was a lengthy one this week. So, yeah, we got 2 more episodes. Next week, standard episode. The week after will be our SummerSlam predictions. And then you guys will get at least as best as we can. And then we'll probably do some little mini-sodes, maybe just talking about random video game or wrestling stuff. Maybe updating our predictions if need be. Maybe try to put that up on SoundCloud if possible while we're on vacation. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget, this goes live on Twitch. Whenever we do go live, I normally say every week, but going forward with my new job, we're not sure about every week. We're in a feeling out period. But whenever we do go live, we go live on Twitch at twitch.tv/L_Murpho. You can find out when we go live via my Twitter account at Twitter at L_Murpho, as well as my Discord server, which if you are on Twitch right now, it is underneath the little video player. Underneath, not on the screen. So, like that. Yeah, that works. You can also find us on demand via Twitch as well as on YouTube. The YouTube channel is El Murpho Real. You can also find us in audio form on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and other locations. Just search for Super Grapple Bros.
Remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes, because that helps us out with visibility. More people get to see us. We show up in directories and stuff like that when people search for wrestling and or video games when they're looking for good podcasts to listen to. So that's very much appreciated. Like, share, subscribe as well on YouTube. Don't forget to follow on Twitch. And also, lastly, do not forget that if you have any topics of discussion you want us to go over in the wrestling or video game world, or have any questions regarding wrestling or video games that you want us to maybe give our opinions on or answer, be sure to email supergrapplebros@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for watching or listening, however you're consuming this content of ours, this lovely podcast. For DMurph, I am your reigning, defending champion of predictions, El Murpho.
Rightfully so.
And that's it for this week. Deuces.
Peace. See ya.